In Ela, I really didn't know which way you would go. But let's move on to the Dark Triad, because this one seems to be more comprehensive. This one, the Dark Triad. Oh, and they call it the Dark Triad for a reason. So,
the previous show we talked about both Trisha and Ethan's scores, and Trisha scored fairly high on the narcissism aspect of the Dark Triad, and kind of at a middling level for psychopathy.
I do need to say that she did admit to being on Xanax and Percocet when she took the test. Because Dr. Drew was like, your results don't really make any sense.
Really?
And she's like, well, I was fucked up on Xanax and Percocet, and I wasn't really paying attention. So
there is some consistency there in the scores on narcissism in the Dark Triad and the NPI, but I certainly take the point.
Okay, so doctor, do we have any anomaly readings here among us?
We do, just in one person.
Well, no, wait, before you do that, there's some high narcissism readings on the scale too, right, Mark?
Yeah. So with AB, he got a 3.89, and a high score on the Dark Triad measure of narcissism is a 3.68.
Oh, so AB scored high on the narcissism scale.
Yeah,
Dark Triad.
Above the threshold.
Interesting. AB, what do you think about that? As someone who thought you were a 2, according to the Dark Triad, you have narcissistic traits.
I don't know. What are we able to go over some of the questions?
Of course. So
yeah, there's actually a lot, but I mean, I think before we even do that, questions on the Dark Triad relating to narcissism are different from the ones on the narcissistic personality inventory. So sometimes it's just a question of the types of questions that are actually being asked.
Right.
So let me try and pull up.
So how this one works is you have a sliding scale of strongly disagree and strongly agree on a scale of 1 to 5, right? And so,
that's right.
So they ask you kind of similar questions, and then they gauge based on which bubble you fill in. So it's a different, maybe more nuanced scale.
So
yeah, that's right. This is not a forced choice. It's a scale.
I got to give up my studio in 5 minutes here. So
okay.
we better proceed with the reveal, because help you guys through that.
Okay.
So do you want me to go through these scores now, or do you want me to just go to the big reveal first?
Well, I'm not sure I'm ready for the big reveal. I feel like...
All right. That's okay with me, but I'm going to abandon you guys. I can come back to help if this doesn't go well.
Is it that this is? I am just.
Well, because you go so negative on these results.
Oh, I mean, that's fair. So just remember here. Let's get a soundbite of Dr. Drew saying something positive.
Right.
Well, no, you don't have to. I'll come back and say something positive on another day. But just remind yourselves that this is not about being good or bad person.
Right.
These are strategies for being in the world, and sometimes the strategies have nothing to do or very little to do with how you feel inside. Sometimes how you feel.
Dude, the way Dr. Drew is talking makes me think that one of these guys is fucked up.
I feel like Dr. Drew is going to drop a bomb on me, but
all right.
Mark, luck. I turns out I didn't have the studio when I thought I did, but if you need any emergency for me to return, like on a lower quality phone or something, Mark, please text me, okay?
Thank you, Dr. Drew.
Thank you
Hope
for
you
joining us.
have a nice recovery, and thank you very much.
And I got Melissa Rivers today on my streaming show, and don't forget, every day around 3 o'clock, you can get it all at drdrew.com, drdrew.tv, YouTube/Dr. Drew will be there.
Dr. Drew, everywhere. Dr. Drew is everywhere, and he is coming at you live.
All right, guys. Good luck.
Bye.
Thanks a lot, Dr.
Thank you.
Here's Drew.
Wow, It's that bad, huh, Dr. Young?
I didn't realize there was still another big reveal.
Oh, there's like a huge reveal, apparently. Okay, so let's start with, so we were talking about AB scoring high on narcissism on the dark triad, and you were going to explain his results.
Right.
I thought what I'd do is just, there are 9 questions for narcissism. I thought what I'd do is just go through the ones on which he has a high score.
Okay.
So the first one is, people see me as a natural leader.
Okay, that tracks.
And he got a 5 out of 5 on that question.
Fair enough.
Let's see.
You nervous,
I'd
AB?
like to get acquainted with important people.
Oh.
Interesting.
Cloud shark.
Clout pill.
I feel embarrassed if someone compliments me. Now that is what we call a reversed scored question. In these types of surveys, in order to make sure that people are actually reading the questions, we put in a negative and then reverse score it. It's just a technique that psychometricians use. And so you have to kind of do the reverse of that, which means that he's not embarrassed when people compliment him.
Really?
They got you, buddy.
And then the last one is, I am an average person, but again, that's reverse scored. So he gets 4 out of 5 on that.
So you said 4 out of 5 on my average person, and that somehow indicates he's a narcissist.
No, he got a 2 out of 5, but when we reverse score,
Oh, I see.
he got a 4 out of 5.
I see. Okay.
Again, for my money, the NPI is a much wider assessment of narcissism, than the narcissism score in the dark triad, simply because you've got 40 questions on the NPI, and here we've got 9.
Mm-hmm.
We have a much broader range of characteristics related to narcissism. The different categories that we kind of went through.
So how are you feeling, AB? Does this all make sense to you? I mean, I don't think I think it all is pretty reasonable stuff.
Yeah. No, it makes sense. I feel like a lot of it goes back, not trying to go into deep dive, but my dad's sort of my dad's known for being very assertive and being like the patriarch of the family. So I try to be a nicer version of him, if you will. So I could kind of see that.
Now, so we have what it sounds to me is one person. Is there any other anomalies, or just one person that's way off the chart and everyone else is average?
Pretty much everyone else is average. One person got, in terms of the 3 aspects of the dark triad, one person got pretty high scores on 2 out of the 3 categories.
Okay, let's hit the drum roll. So I'm guessing, it's got to be Zach, right?
I mean, that would be the most logical.
Seems like the easiest choice.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Zach, but
With peace and love.
with peace and love, I have to say it's Zach. So, Dr. Young, the big reveal, if you would, please.
Well, you're exactly right. It is Zach.
I told you I'm Joker brained. You didn't believe
Yeah,
me.
you are
Totally
Joker
Joker
brain.
5.
I'm fucking Joker brained.
We knew it was Zach, but with peace and love, that's why we love you, Zach.
But you know what? I think the when you look at these categories, and I'll talk about them in detail in a minute. Zach got a 4.2 out of 5 on narcissism, and that's very consistent with what we already had assessed with the narcissistic personality inventory. And the a kind of a high score on that is a 3.68, and he got a 4.2.
So he kind of smashed the roof off of the elevator.
It's a reasonably high score.
Right.
Yeah.
What's the highest score you've seen on that one? Is that about it?
Well, I haven't administered this as much as I have, the other instruments, but yeah, you can certainly, the ceiling, of course, is a 5.
Yeah.
So the closer you get to a 5, the higher it's going to be.
Well, that's a really good grade. That's high marks. But so we knew he was a narcissist. So what about the other 2 aspects?
All right. So on Machiavellianism,
Ooh.
this is kind of strategy and cunning. The a high score there is about a 3.86, and Zach got a 3.66. So he is not over the threshold there. He's just below the threshold.
Oh.
And then on psychopathy,
Oh no.
and Zach, I think you'll be interested to hear this. The average, a reasonably high score is a 3.4, but you only got a 2.77.
Oh, that's not that bad. So why did Dr. Drew make it sound so bad? I got afraid that Zach's gonna be full on psychopath on me.
It's just that the other way we add these up is we add all three scores up to get a total, and so a total high dark triad score is 10.94 if you sum the three right across categories, and Zach's score across those categories was a 10.63. But again, breaking it down, we already kind of had the assessment on narcissism. The fact that psychopathy is low, I think, is a positive.
Very good. Yeah, we got to turn that dial down there, Zach.
And then Machiavellianism, again, that just really means, strategic behavior.
Read me the Machiavellian ones you scored high on.
All right. So
Zach, how are you feeling? How are you feeling about all this?
Well, I have my shrink on standby. Thank God.
What does that mean? Are you kidding, or are you making a joke?
No,
or-
I'm just
okay.
I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. Does this mean I have to be locked up or like
You're going
there's
to
no
prison.
necessary.
straight jacket, like Houdini, that shit, like
No, again, remember, these are just traits, right? It doesn't mean that you have a disorder of any kind. They're just kind of tendencies. And we have to say that for the NPI in particular, these are stable tendencies. But again, it doesn't mean you're a bad person or anything like that. It just means that on these particular aspects of personality.
And I will say, Zach, that your scores weren't that bad. I mean, Dr. Drew was leading me to believe that we were going to have to call the fucking FBI and dig up your backyard and shit and start digging for bones.
Well, do we know, is Zach the big reveal?
Was
that-
that the big reveal?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, no, he's the highest.
No. Well, Zach, whatever makes
The
you up.
winner.
Hey, he wins.
Whatever makes you up, you're the sweetest guy I know.
So
Yeah.
you lost the
you.
title. So Zach, you lost the heartthrob title, but you won the crazy title,
I love it.
You got your
I
Joker
love it. You know I'll do anything for the show.
and that's why you're the greatest. You're my golden boy.
I have a question, if I may. I'm curious how Ian did on this Dark Triad because he was the lowest. He was so low on the other one.
It's like he doesn't even exist.
Did he score super low on the Dark Triad?
Is
as
it
well?
possible to not even exist?
I can tell you that, and I want to come back to Zach and compare his overall score to Trisha on the Dark Triad in just a moment.
Sure.
Ian got a 6.82 overall score when a high score is 10.94.
There you go. So super low there, too.
Ian's low, but he got a 4.76, which is a very low score
Oh,
on
Ew.
the Dark Triad.
Really?
Interesting.
Ethan, you got a 6.54 overall score. AB got an 8.88.
well, he's getting up there.
Borderline.
And just to remind you, and Dan got a 7.22.
A little bit high up there, Dan.
That was like the same as yours.
But I wanted to note that Trisha got an overall score of 9.22 on the Dark Triad.
Yeah, but she was high.
Oh.
She was high, and
But Zach had a 10.63.
so Zach,
I am
you-
so fucked.
no. But Zach, please remind everybody that Zach, you were sober, and Trisha was high on Percocet and Xanax through the last two, which she said on the show. I'm not exposing her.
I was
So
sober.
what?
yeah.
So what does it mean that I was low on this one? Like, what are some of the questions that I scored low on?
Well, let me just tell you the scores in each category because it's so low. You got a 1.88 out of 5 on Machiavellianism. So not strategic. You're not a strategic, manipulative person.
That's good, I think.
Yeah. On narcissism, you got a 1.44 out of 5, which is consistent with your low score on the NPI. Right. And then on psychopathy, again, out of 5, you got a 1.44. So these are low scores.
Huh?
Well below the mean. So the overall score of 4.76. if I'm looking at the data here, there's not too much that really jumps out across other folks. So I think in summary, if you look at the overall total for the Dark Triad, you've got Zach in first place with you're coming in second. And then AB third and Dan actually fourth.
This is so like I'm just kind of I mean seriously, how are you feeling, Zach, like on a real level? Or does this affect you? I mean, obviously we're not taking it too seriously, but I'm just kind of curious.
I knew I wasn't like other people.
Interesting.
So there's that.
So when you say when you AB has excused himself. So when you say you knew you weren't like other people, do you mean? I guess what do you mean by that? Like how did you see yourself as different than other people?
I'm always willing to do something somebody else doesn't want to do. It could be an attention thing. It could be I don't know what it is, but yeah, I'm Joker brained.
But I love that.
He's
I
built
love
differently.
your Joker brain.
I'm Joker brained. I'm gonna have to get through life now. You know, it's gonna be a struggle, but I'm gonna do it, God willing.
And